they opened up a little small track in Danville called the Dixie Speedway, and they wanted to get some black drivers, and they thought they didn't know who to approach, so they went to the police department to find out what black guys had speeding records and things like that. So they told them they want somebody to drive a race car to see me. So that's how I started racing.
As Matt told us earlier, trying to become the first African-American driver since Willie T. Ribbs and join Randy Bethea and the great Wendell Scott.
He did he drove the car exactly what the car wanted him to do. He got out early. It looked like a little tight, but he kept in the throttle and he got a good lap. And wow, way to go!
There you go.
Woo-hoo. That's it.
That man, Tony Schumacher, wins. He is the champion for an 8th time. But Antron Brown, if Tony Schumacher loses, becomes the first African-American to win an NHRA title. 376, Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
These need to be the best 7 laps of Darrell Wallace Jr.'s life.
That was a good first part of it right there.
Turn number 4, Darrell Wallace Jr. is going to get his first win in the Camping World Truck Series. His final time through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
Ready. What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
Record is equals. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
Get in there, Lewis. What a way to do it, mate. What a way to win your 7th world title.
Okay, whatever. It's still they'll figure it out or they won't. I don't care.
Who? What?
My room's not even dirty. It's just got a bunch of shit I bought on the bed. That's it. So I don't even care.
It's fine. We don't care.
I just got home tonight.
This isn't going to be on cam. You're good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. So
let me get to these results. I need to see. I legit forgot what happened. Okay, Christopher. That's right. Okay. I forgot what happened in Xfinity. Let's just breeze through Xfinity in a real smooth, timely manner.
You can tell me how to run the show? That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm the producer, ain't I? You the host.
Are you? That's wild.
On-screen
that's
talent.
Crazy.
So
Tell me how to. Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's every show I've ever seen. That's how the producer run it. Look, you play a very important role. I'm not pretending like you don't.
Are you done tooting your horn? Are you done?
I just said. I literally just said
of CapCut. You ready to?
I literally just said you have a very important role. I don't understand what more you want from me.
I thought I'm more important nerd. Never mind, I can't say that.
Whenever you're ready, bro. I'm good.
Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. It is post Darlington. That's right, ladies and germs. The race just ended 5 minutes ago. We are here bringing you grade A quality content, sponsored by Stewart Haas Racing. We have Art, we have Carl, we have Jer here. And we're gonna recap this weekend, and then we're gonna all hopefully go to sleep soon.
Yeah, I got to
start on a high. No, yeah, Carl's got to go to sleep because he's got to get up at 5.
Yeah,
where you are, you be all right.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think good things are gonna happen. I'm gonna go ahead and stop by the house on my way to Texas tonight. Tomorrow's my Friday, and little did I know that was a mistake. I should have just went on to where I was going. Anyway.
Well, then we would have never seen you for the rest of the year. So
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even have had to get talked off a ledge. I could have just jumped. So
save you some trouble.
let's anyway.
It's gonna be one of those shows.
You're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go back to yesterday. Christopher Bell started on the pole. That's where he finished. Christopher Bell wins the Xfinity race. Sheldon Creed gets let down, number 17,824. except this time he didn't finish second. He finished third. Cole Custer finished second. Chase Elliott fourth. SVG finishes seventh at Darlington. And Justin Allgaier finishes 10th. What y'all think of the Xfinity race?
I'll go first since nobody's volunteering. I was all prepared to come on here with a can't close Creed slander, but this race wasn't really his fault at all. I mean, he had a caution with 2 to go or 3 to go, had a bad pit stop. You win as a team, you lose as a team, and just couldn't get it done. I think Bell might have had a better car than him, maybe half of the race. But still, he did his job of passing him with less than 10 to go, whatever it was, and put himself in a position. So sucks for him. C-Bell was going to lead to a lot of Bonte slander. He's not on tonight. He's, sobbing in some Mountain Dew and some snacks somewhere right now, I'm sure. But I was prepared to roast and lambaste him for C-Bell choking it, and C-Bell finds a way to get it done. It was an all right race. I think the only Rick highlight for me really was Shane, getting a 7th place at Darlington for, I think, his only 2nd time at the track, I want to say. That's a big accomplishment. This is a really, really difficult track to master, as we all know, I think, on this show, and as fans are learning, if they're new fans and longtime fans already know. So Shane getting a top 10 there is a great accomplishment. Very happy for him. I think that bodes really well for his future endeavors at the cup level. So I was happy with that part. The rest of the race was just kind of meh. I don't know why, but I was just kind of expecting a bit more from this race in terms of action. And, we're recording this. The smoke is still billowing from Chase Briscoe's burnout as we're recording this. And I was sitting down to hit the button, and I could not remember anything about this race. So that's usually not a good sign when 24 hours later, you don't even remember who the winner was. And I watched it flag to flag. So, interesting. Joey blew up. Riley blew up, I think. So it was a Darlington race. And, for Cole, it's great for him. This whole thing also, last thing, with the whole playoffs being staggered, it's really weird. And it's throwing me for a loop. With trucks being last week. And now this week is Cup cut off. And Xfinity is in 3 weeks, I think. Yes? Question mark? No one's answering? Jared's nodding. Okay. That really throws me. I hate that so much. I was very confused. But all in all, hey, good for Bell. He gets a trophy. Sheldon Creed. And I hope you get one. Because at this point, it's like the joke that goes on too long, where it's no longer funny, it's sad. And that's how I feel about this guy at this point. I kind of just want him to get a win, just so if nothing else, he can retire with at least one at this point.
Jer.
Yeah, you gotta feel for Creed. That's just, you see him in the interviews too, where he even says oh, Twitter's gonna have fun with this. Can't finish. I can only finish second. Twitter's gonna have a ball. I actually didn't see Twitter having fun this time. I saw Twitter very upset for him, and at this point, it just feels like everybody's kind of on his side. Which is an interesting shift from everyone making fun of him to just being oh my God, dude, we want it for you at this point. But I mean, yeah, it was kind of similarly to Art. It was a good race. I thought it was entertaining while I was watching it, but yeah, kind of struggling to really remember a whole lot of highlights. The early caution for Retzlaff was a bummer, especially coming off of Daytona. I was sad to see that. And then, yeah, I mean, Sam Mayer started the day by saying I want an uneventful day. I just want to be top 10 finish, no headlines. And then he got loose when he was in P1, tire went down, and he just turned himself around. So Sam Mayer did not get what he came to get, but it's a good race overall, I thought.
Carl.
Yeah, I didn't. I just saw y'all's commentary on it. I don't know. Art shaking his head, but I was at work. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch highlights. Actually, I've been so busy this week. I was still mourning the loss of a deer, so it's not been a great week.
Don't act like it was a personal deer that you knew.
Well,
He raised it.
I did everything in my power. It was a small deer. I felt awful about it. Yeah, it's yeah. So I mean, I was in mourning yesterday. I couldn't take NASCAR yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I honestly, for the first time in this show's history, did not watch the race and did not watch the highlights to prepare for this because up until 3 hours ago, I didn't know I was doing this. So, and then my attention was fully on the Cup race. So,
Guess you have a lot to talk about here in a couple of minutes, then, huh?
more than you know. Let me get the soundboard queued up.
Oh God!
Don't. That's fine.
No, I'm not. No, I have a second special side project for the soundboard. So,
But Xfinity's gonna Xfinity. I always feel like there's always these love-hate moments for these super duper late race restarts. And Sheldon got beat at his own game. You gotta spend some extra time in the sim if you want to be the Cup dude. But oh well, we move. Where they go next week? Atlanta.
yeah, Atlanta. I for whatever reason thought Watkins Glen opened the playoffs. Yeah, I said it on the show too. So
you really were going out on a high note.
Nobody corrected me at all. No one stopped me. So you sat right there in front of me.
That's our job.
You sat right there. You sat right there across from me and didn't ever correct me. So
bet.
Yeah.
Bet. Say no
more.
more.
You're gonna really love this being on the Cup race. This is crafted especially for you too.
Which gets us to tonight. It's Sunday night under the lights, kinda at the start, kinda at Darlington. Bubba did what he had to do. The Air Force Camry was P1 going into this evening's. I was going to say shenanigans. We'll call it a race for a little bit. Going to tonight's race. Bubba led the first 35 laps, and then the race went to hell in a handbasket with the consistent tightness that is known and loved by Bubba Wallace driving the 23 Camry. And there was some beating, there was some banging, there was some terrorism by usual suspects. And the end result ended up being Corley Joy gets his first top 10 on a non-drafting track in his career. Also, Chase Briscoe won.
It's a very front-loaded segue, but all right.
I just thought that was awesome. So, playoffs lineup set, access denied to Chris Buescher and Bubba, and Chase Briscoe had me emotional in his post race. Yeah, he won. That was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I didn't want to feel the emotion because I was like, I hate you. At the same time, I was like, man, like you just walked off and you just like gave hope to everybody who's literally getting fired in 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just made that last paycheck better because you get an automatic guaranteed extra $1 million for being a playoff team. Like that's crazy. Everybody gets a nice Christmas now. Stuart Haas thanks to Briscoe.
Yeah, this one means a lot for him.
You gotta go ahead and take that. You gotta take
me starting. All right,
fine. Cheese. Now you gotta go.
Sorry. I mean, no, this win does mean like so much for them, and that is like the only thing stopping me really from being like super duper upset is you can't have a heart and be mad about that. Come on, like the amount of times they mentioned tonight, 300. We're doing this for the 323 employees of Stuart Haas Racing. Like, yeah, man, you did, and that's like. That is going to make anybody tear up. I'm sorry. Like I'm gutted for Bubba. Like I was kind of hoping if there was going to be a new winner, I really did hope it was Kyle Busch, but like, this is good. Like, this is good. This is good for everybody involved. Yeah, I mean, it was, God, early caution for Truex. Immediately, he's like, "Oh, I'm an idiot." He just owned it, said he overcorrected. I thought Blaney like busted his wrist or something. The way he was talking on the radio, he really sounded like he was in a lot of pain. But I'm really glad that he was evaluated and was fine, didn't have anything broken or anything like that. I mean, honestly, just talking about it now, this feels like 10 years ago because it was lap 2. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk more about Tyler Reddick shitting himself when it comes to the 2311 corner, but that was an eventful night for him, I guess. It's just, I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it more with 2311 corner, I guess, but I am bittersweet on the playoff win and you're in, just because I don't know. I have thoughts that are positive about it and I have thoughts that are negative about it, because you have these really sweet moments with, Chase Briscoe and Stewart Haas Racing, and that is fantastic. But then also you've got, it knocks out a bunch of people who I think could probably have a little bit more to say when it comes to the playoffs, but it is what it is.
Yeah, after we get to 2311 corner, we're going to take a look back at these last 26 races and just review all the scandalous activity that just transpired, because a lot of that just popped back up in my mind. All right. Thoughts, Darlington. Southern 500.
I mean, if I'm looking at this race with no context or no fandom, big picture, yeah, it was a good race. I should say it was a good last, 100 laps or so. I feel like pretty much from the moment the 5 took the lead from Bubba, on that round of pit stops, it was kind of a snoozer for me outside of the playoff. Like if you ignore, I know it's a big if, but if you ignore the playoff, stage points, running, whatever, the first, 80% of this was kind of boring to me personally, just because the 5 was just running away with it. And no one could really challenge him. There was some, jockeying for position in the field, but there wasn't, too much in terms of strategy. You had some folks like Denny running long in the middle, but for the most part, I mean, it really felt like you just pitted and cycled, and you might gain a spot, lose a spot, and the 5's crew was just going to cook you on every pit stop. Like, that's one thing, I watched them a bit closer, we just recorded an interview with some guys who are on a pit crew that'll be dropping soon, but like the 5's crew, like even their worst stops are still like 0.2 quicker than like everyone else, and like their best stops are like second and a half, and I was like, my god, like they are just cooking. And then the broadcast like, oh yeah, they're all SEC strong boys, like good god, like I see why you're so good. But yeah, like the last 100 laps were good. They were interesting, exciting. There always seems to be a caution late. In this case, we got 2 cautions kind of late. We got a bit of a longer run, which I appreciate it. And the action at the end was great. Like I was really pulling for Kyle. Like I really want him to get this win for his streak. I think, he's been doing this for so long. I really want to see him get a win. Out of the 2, like obviously at that point, I knew the 23's goose was cooked. Like there was no chance. So I was rooting for him. And to Briscoe's credit, like he was smart. Like he didn't door anyone. He didn't, drive in over his head like his real racer teammates, who just seem to just lose their brains, just absolutely lose their brains. The 4 and the 10, like what a tag team you guys were. They were the real Terror Twins tonight. But he ran a great race, the 14. Like I don't take anything away from him. I do not have to love it, Jer. I hate it. I personally don't care. I'd love it for him next week versus this week. It could have been just as great then.
This is fair.
But it's whatever. I said on here, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, but like I want the playoff system to break. I want it to bend like uncooked pasta and continue to bend until it snaps, and they have to fix it. And I'm hoping that this, Harrison, Martin almost choking it away. Like, my God, dude, what are you doing? I'm really hoping that all of these will lead to some changes in the playoffs, in the playoff rules for next year. That's the only thing I was hoping for. Like, I'm full of team chaos at this point. But it is what it is. I'm at peace with it, I guess. Like, 23 ran a great race. Oh, I'm going to give a special shout out to Tyler. Like, my God, my dude, like Herculean effort. Like, you got stuff coming out of both ends and you're still driving the wheels off of it. Like, my God, like what a Iron Man. Like, I have so much respect for him. And then he got the regular season title off of it, off one's point, right? Like, it took every single ounce of strength he had to get it done. And I just salute him because that has to be one of the hardest runs he's ever had to do. No pun intended, as I say that. I didn't think about that, but happy for him. I hate it for 23, but given the way the season has gone, like, I'm not at all surprised by that outcome. Yeah, it was a good race, I guess. It's whatever. I mean, I'm heartbroken, but like, it's whatever. I'm at peace. I've accepted it.
Tums coming to a 2311 marketing campaign near you. Carl.
Yo.
Your thoughts on this evening's Southern 500?
Yeah, man. I thought, I thought overall it's a good race. The cars seem pretty racy. I mean, it's always hard to really appreciate it when you got one guy out front for 200 something odd laps. And then, like I said, you get to the end, you have all these cautions and you re-rack them, and you're like, okay, is this good? Do I enjoy it because it's good racing? Do I enjoy it because it's dramatic, right? And like, I feel like with the Cup Series, like you kind of have to have both a little bit. Not to say too much about the 23 because there's a whole section dedicated to that, but I do want to say, like, off riff, like Tyler Reddick winning the regular season title, literally had his very own version of his flu game. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. That is one of the most impressive drives I've seen in 20-something odd years of watching Cup racing. I mean, I think it's right up there with Kyle Busch winning Sonoma with a still broken leg. It's up there with, Allison coming back from an injury and winning. It's up there. Ricky Rudd, burning himself, sizzling his ass alive in Martinsville and winning. I mean, it's so impressive, and it speaks volumes. I said last week about how I think that Tyler Reddick really is, I don't think he gets enough praise for the talent that he is, because I think he's like right next to guys like, Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano and all those guys that we think are like the biggest things in the sport. So I can't say enough about that and how impressive that was. And also, again, not to front load all the 2311 corner content, but he did do a really excellent job as a teammate. We talked about it in the group chat. I mean, when they could, they did. It just wasn't enough, but I mean, that happened. So besides that, wanted Kyle to win. I have been a Kyle Busch first fan. Kyle Busch and Casey Kane were like the first guys like I was full on like fans of in the Cup Series. Like beforehand, you were just kind of a fair weather Jeff Gordon fan. You're growing up in the 90s, and then those who came along and Casey Kane kind of faded away to obsolescence, but I still stayed hard on the Kyle Busch thing. So seeing him win, especially at Darlington, a track where just like Daytona and Talladega, he's been so good at it and just not had the finishes to show for it, would have really done me a lot of good tonight. But how can you not love Chase Briscoe? I mean, that story, a guy that, came out of a crapshoot by Ford, right? You go back, 6 years ago now, and Ford was like, okay, put Majeski and Briscoe and Cindric in the 60 car, and then whoever performs the best may get a ride out of this, right? And the guy that the odds were stacked against really was Briscoe. So for him to go from that to the Xfinity Series and winning there and all the personal turmoil he's had in his personal life, and then he gets to drive his idol's car in the 14, and then that team was shutting down. So to do this here tonight, like when I read on Twitter somebody posted in the group chat like the message that his crew chief gave him, I was like, yeah, there's no way he doesn't win that. Like that's a heart of the line moment for sure. So, I'm happy to see that for him. I really like him, and it's been frustrating that people have kind of written him off because the SHR hasn't been where they needed to be. This is good, and hopefully next year they're great. Yeah, I mean, I think the Cup race was fine. I think it was really good. no real like stinkers that I can think of that I'm just like, okay, and enough of this. I mean, Corey LaJoy got a top 10. And I tell you what, right now, last week I passed up on betting on Harrison to win, and this week I almost was like, let me bet on Corey LaJoy to get a top 10 this week to see. And I was like, nah. And
You
once
always
again,
say this.
I do, yeah, because remember when I had like the lineup for the playoffs and it was like 70,000 to like the payout,
We
and I
all
was
would have
like,
been rich.
yeah, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and then like it happened exactly. So I don't know, but yeah, but like I said,
False
besides
prophet.
that, I'm telling you, man, for real, bro. But but besides that, yeah, man. I mean, that's my feelings on the Cup race. So, and then the 2311 corner is a whole different segment. So,
Yeah, I guess I guess my thoughts. Like to Art's point, if you looked at it objectively, it was a pretty decent regular season finale race. There was lots of drama between the pit stops and Martin Truex deciding that he didn't want to race this race. Carson Hocevar doing Carson Hocevar things. I feel like that we were back to regular scheduled programming, but again, I like races where there's pit strategy. I like races where there's tire strategy. I like races where the crew chief has to earn their keep and earn their paychecks. Some did that really well. Some did that not so well. But at the end of the day, it's good for the sport, I guess, for Chase Briscoe to win. There's no charter deal, so who knows? They might be back next year anyway if they can't sell the shop. But there's still hope that the car doesn't pass inspection and Kyle Busch gets the playoff berth instead of Chase Briscoe. Carl, did you want to add?
Nah, don't give it to him. Don't give it to him. Whatever it is, don't give it to him.
I feel like I have to describe what happened there. I put in the chat that I forgot to say something, and Art was like, "Too bad time march is on." And I told him, I said, "If I turn this camera back on with ass cheeks showing, it's on you."
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why Jared and Jared were laughing. But no, what I wanted to say real quick, because there's nowhere else to shoehorn this in. And if you hear sounds, it's because Art's jumping across the table at me. But as much as we have disparaged and talked down on the playoffs and all the flaws of the system, right? I think that tonight, like it effectively did its job in the way of like building stories and like garnering interest that way. And like that's a very hard crossroad to be at, because it's like, it's just such a departure from like real racing, right? Like no other racing series in the world has anything like that. Like the F1 title is going to come down to the last few rounds if they keep on the way that they are. And like imagine like that story in NASCAR, right? Like imagine like the 5 goes on tear at the beginning of the season, and then like the last like 5 or 4 rounds, the 45 beats them or whatever, right? Like how it's happened with Lando and Max. So like that aspect of it does suck, because like you don't get that. But the other aspect of it is like, if I'm a Fairweather fan, I mean, in a guy that reads headlines on Monday and watches highlights, the last 2 weeks I've been eating, and you've got to think, man, like I'm sure a good portion of the NASCAR fan base are those people who don't see it the way that everybody else sees it. And, I mean, we didn't even talk about the Mexico thing either, but that doesn't matter. And so, yeah, I just think that the playoffs effectively tonight did their job, right? Because the last, 9-10 laps of the race, it's not only Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe, guys that are at totally different points in their careers, have totally different stories into this race, but it's also 2 guys who should be competing for a title that aren't competing for a title, that now all of a sudden the entire trajectory of their postseason has changed for them and their teams. And like it just that in and of itself is like headline worthy, regardless of everything else that happened in the race. So I don't know, man. I hate the functionality of the playoffs, but I fully understand the marketability of it. And tonight showed that, just like last weekend did. So
Yeah. I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Hey, look, bro.
You are entitled to your opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're entitled to your opinion. But I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Hey, look, bro. Hey, I just want to try to front load some positivity into this because know, yeah, man. Like, I'll go first with what?
We need this week's thumbnail is gonna be that I thrive off negativity meme with the guy with the mask up. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's gonna be that.
Yeah, send me that. No. That's exactly what it's gonna be. Moving on to 23-11 corner. For the first time in the inception of the team 23-11, they have a regular season champion. Tyler Reddick had his flu game, like everybody mentioned, and he's your regular season champ. He get them 15 points, which is super cool and also super trash at the exact same time.
Yeah,
because you have arguably a championship winning organization that has been achieved 2 years before the powers that be wanted it to. And you have a car in 10 of the 26 races got wrecked through no fault of their own. And they're on the outside looking in. And the last time that happened, he won Talladega. So I'm hopeful that Bubba can still shake the cobwebs. He's currently on a 68 winless streak. Hopefully, since we can't go for the title, you might as well do his best calling impression to go trophy hunting, right? So hopefully they keep putting out the speed. He can keep trying stuff to keep Tyler up there. It's insane. Just if you just go back to how this team came about, how the deal came about, how Toyota came in play, how the sponsors came in play, and all this stuff, and like quite literally, one side of Airspeed, I misspoke, is literally going for a championship, and then Bubba's in a contract year. He gets wrecked and doesn't make the playoffs. And it just makes you wonder, like, I know I brought all this money with me. However, does this these new monikers and these new nameplates and all these other extra responsibility that just happened in the last 4 hours, is that this sort of change the landscape of where I'm at, where I'm supposed to be? But happy for Tyler, happy for Denny, happy for Mike, happy for Steve, happy for Chris Polk. Hopefully he doesn't get in trouble for what he had on his shirt on pit road before the race. But yeah, I'll stop there and 23-11 corner. Carl, you go first. I'm interested to see what this the scorched earth take you're about to do.
Okay. Well, so the first part of the 23-11 corner is we got chirped at a little bit this week over the Pockers interview, and I just want to say, like, just real quick, because this all fits in together. And I've also been suspended on Twitter, so I can't like go after nobody. My suspension's my suspension's up tomorrow. But I just want to say something, man. Look, we're all black, even Jerry is. No, I'm kidding. But no, no,
I was like, hang on.
But no, like there have been a grand total of 5 African Americans that have made cup starts, right? And there's one that is competitive, right? So I mean, you talk about a sport that has a 70-year history, 5 drivers that look like us, 1 driver that's been competitive, and you're mad because, like, that's who we root for. And it's like, that's insane. And so I think we do a great job praising everybody else. I don't think that we've ever defamed another driver or flamed anybody or like insulted a driver or excluded them because they were white. We've never done that. We all had white favorites before Bubba Wallace came into the Cup Series. You know, Arthur with Jeff Gordon, me with Kyle Busch, Jarrett with Dale Jarrett. I mean, so you know, if our subject matter is something that pisses you off, you're more than welcome to go listen to like the half dozen other fan-driven podcasts that aren't led by black people and talk about non-black drivers. It's fine. This is not a paid service. This isn't a Patreon. We don't owe you anything, and vice versa. With that being said, because it just really pisses me off. But anyway, to talk about the 2311 corner, look, it flat out sucks, man. And I don't know, I am beyond thrilled for Tyler, right? For this guy to come through the ranks. Because I remember when he won his Xfinity title at JRM, I was like, this is such a sham of a title. The guy wins Daytona, rides around the rest of the year, wins Homestead. Suddenly he's an Xfinity Series champion. I was like, go to hell. There's no way. And then, you know what? I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't care. And then he backs it up at RCR. He dominates with them. And I'm like, okay, this guy's a real deal, right? I am thrilled for him. He got out of the ghetto, RCR, right? He came to a real organization. Richard, I've got your number. Trust me, something's coming for you because I've been stewing on you all week. Because real quick, how dare you go in front of NASCAR and cry because your team essentially cheated and you're mad because they wouldn't overturn the result? What are you fucking talking about? I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll move on. So I'm beyond thrilled about the regular season championship. I hope Tyler wins the title. It does suck because, right, there's an immediate comparison between him and the 23 and Bubba. And it's just like, look, man, I don't know what the final tally is of them, of how far they were out of the playoffs by, at post-rec and everything. But again, it's like I said last week, you look at races like, Talladega, Charlotte, Dover, Kansas, Vegas, New Hampshire, Circuit of the Americas, there's 6, 7 races, 8 races I can name offhand where they were doing what they had to do. They're performing like they needed to perform. Have they had a weekend where they unloaded better than the 45? I don't know, but they've been within a couple steps of them, right? So, like, by using that logic, they should be right there along in the playoffs with them. But they've just lost a ton of points through the year, and then it's unfortunate that it even came down to this last race of the year. And then it's also unfortunate that even making they got saved because they made a wrong call at the end. I don't know. I have been a booty defender this whole time. I think that the chemistry is great. I think that they get along great. But I'm sorry, like we saw day to day and like how much tires matter. We saw at the end of the race how much tires matter, right? Because Chase Briscoe almost didn't get us happily ever after, right? Because of 3-lap difference in tires. So I don't know why in the hell, and I'm not trying to place blame, I don't know why in the hell Booty Barker would say, okay, the guy that we're right behind in points or right in front of in points just was in an incident and he's pitting for tires. We should stay out. It's like, well, no, you should be doing exactly what he does, mimicking that and making sure you are on the same playing field as him. And that did not happen. They fell back to 11th. They got saved by a caution. Who knows what would have become of it? But for some odd reason or another, Noah Gregson decided to put on, I don't know what the Hamas logo is. I think it's a red triangle. But he decided to throw that on and drive just straight on into the back of the 23. Why? After the 23 had already driven into somebody else in a wreck and ended that deal. It's unfortunate, and I hate it, man. It sucks because I feel like a playoff berth marks a lot, as far as an indicator of how successful a team was. They've been there more weeks than they haven't been. The speed has been there. The pace has been there, everything. And I feel like the one night where they really had to call it, they couldn't. And, that blows. But the biggest takeaway is, like, look, man, y'all been doing what you needed to do all year. It didn't pan out. Okay, don't let this turn into something bigger than it already is. Each round, guys get eliminated. There's more people you can pass in the points. There's no reason you still can't crack the top 10 or go out and get a win and build for next year. You know what it takes, because 3 years ago, we weren't having a conversation about you being in the playoffs. We weren't having a conversation about you winning Darlington or Bristol or Martinsville or finishing in the top 10 or qualifying top 5 at a road course. We weren't having those conversations. We didn't even think Michigan was a possibility. So to come there from 21 to here shows me that it can be done, right? They just need a little bit of luck and just prevent just prevent stop the bleeding before it happens. I don't know. I don't know. There have been other questionable calls, and I have not criticized Booty because I feel like that's a cop out and that's moving a little bit of responsibility. But it's like, God damn, dude, like you've been around since Noah brought over 2 giraffes from the Ark in the Cup garage, man. Like you should know better at this point, dude. Like. And, who knows? I'm just saying. Anyway, make a long story short, incredibly excited for Tyler. He's getting a chance at a championship. He really deserves this shot. He's worked very hard on his craft to get to this point. Bummed for the 23, but like I said, I mean, you just got to learn from it. You know what you got to do. You know that the focus has to be next year, winning early on, because there's a reason that Daniel Suarez, who has been out to lunch the last 6 weeks, is going to have yellow markers on his car next week, and you aren't, and I mean, so that's the importance. Whatever you got to do the first 6-8 weeks, do it, and then win and figure the rest out. So
I'm gonna throw this random stat, and then Jared, I'll let you go. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playoff drivers that Bubba finished in front of in the regular season standings. And he's left outside looking in. 6. He finished 12th in the regular season points with an average finish of 15.6.
Well,
go ahead, Jer.
Well, okay. First of all, endless congratulations to Tyler Reddick, because that is unbelievable. The man is the regular season winner, finishing with a seat full of shit. Like, what? I have never, I'm not the type of person who listens to radio calls and stuff a whole lot during the race, but I was so close to pulling up the NASCAR app and paying whatever I needed to pay just to hear him keying up the radio and giving updates on his tummy troubles throughout the race, because that was really just the most insane, every few minutes, he's like, no, I'm having a bad time. Can I have some Tums? The man is asking for saltine. The man is a saltine cracker asking for some saltine crackers over the radio. What? I do not even understand the mental fortitude and the drive, no pun intended, that it takes to finish a 5. Oh my God, to finish this race with what he had on the line and the circumstances within that car, to go through that and finish it and then stand there outside of his car like nothing is going on. There are folks standing around him talking to him after the race, he is not, he doesn't have literal hell inside that fire suit going on, the most disgusting situation, and he's just chit-chatting. I sincerely hope at some point they let him go shower. I didn't get to watch a lot of the post-race stuff, obviously, because we're doing this, but goodness, I really hope that man got a long and useful shower before he had cameras in his faces. If he didn't, oh my God. Anyways, because I don't want to go on about that forever, even though I have. I really think, especially after tonight, that Tyler Reddick is I've thought it for a while now, but genuinely this solidified it. He has such a shot to win the championship. I think that is not, I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility. I don't think that that's a crazy thing to say. I think Tyler Reddick has championship potential in general, and especially this year. To Carl's point though, it's so disappointing that the 23 is not right there with him. It's the silver lining is that it doesn't really, I don't know. It's easy to say oh, it's not Bubba's fault because he's in all these crashes and in all these situations where it was just wrong place, wrong time. But there were some races where he wasn't wrong place, wrong time. And that is the difference maker. Genuinely. One of the things I like the most about motorsport and about cup racing in particular is that there is this huge level of chance, especially when it comes down to the playoff positions. Like I said it earlier, I have positive feelings and negative feelings about the playoff structure of the win and you're in. I mean, Art said it, like, I want it to be shaken up too, honestly. I think I don't know what could change necessarily. That's not, I don't really know what could change, but I would like something to change. Dale Jr. said it on his podcast. I think not last week, was it? It might have been last week. He said it on his podcast, you know, like even without the win and you're in, like there would be a handful of guys who you wouldn't expect to be in the playoffs. However, it would feel without the win you're in, those handful of guys who you wouldn't expect to be there, it would feel a little bit sweeter having like looking at the people who aren't in it. It would feel a little bit sweeter for them knowing that those guys put in maybe a little bit more effort to get into the playoffs. And I'm not saying these guys didn't earn it, because obviously they did. They won a race and that's huge. However, it's just disappointing to see those guys who should be in it. Like you have Burton, who may or may not be a first round exit, right? And if he is a first round exit, it just kind of feels like, okay, what was the point? Because should, say Bubba have that spot, he probably wouldn't be a first round exit and he'd be doing something with it. So it's just disappointing to see a playoff spot that we could have had, basically. And that's not a dig at those drivers who are in whatsoever. It's just my thoughts and feelings on the situation, I guess. But yeah, I really, again, to circle back, I really do think that Tyler Reddick could get it. It is, again, just upsetting that the 23 is not right there with him.
You gonna tee me up or no?
Yeah, Art. Yeah.
Damn,
it's your turn.
Can
Yeah.
I get the lob, please? Got my hand
Your
up
thoughts?
waiting for it.
Get it back. Hey, get it back.
It's mixed, man. I think this is a very bittersweet race from a 23XI perspective. Like everyone said on here, I'm so proud of Tyler's performance all season. He's done exactly what he had to do, had wins, had a great performance. And I mean, I think today's effort to me is more impressive than both of the wins that he had. I mean, obviously, feeling under the weather, having bodily issues, trying to take medicine in the car. And this is all at Darlington, 500 miles. It's hot. You're shifting. It's one of the toughest tracks to drive. And I mean, he not only got a good finish out of it, but, got those key bonus points. I just think that was one of the most impressive drives I've seen in a long time. Like Carl gave some earlier examples. So like, I'm very excited for him, and I would have him for sure. If I had to pick a 4, I don't know if we're doing this or not, but if I had to pick a 4 or championship 4 at this point, he would absolutely be in it. I think he's right up there with Denny and with the 5 in terms of consistently great performers and teams that week in and week out do a great job of not beating themselves up and are up front late, which is what you have to be. And, they did everything right. And I'm very proud and excited for them. And I hope they get on a run. I hope they get the trophy. Like, I really don't like this argument or like this talking point that I see online. And even though Bubba made this statement, like, I really don't think it is bad that your teammate is great. Like, I just don't think that's an exact reflection on you as the driver of the 23 car, just because, yes, these cars come from the same shop, and yes, they're built side by side, but they're adjusted probably completely different. And like, yeah, you may share notes, but you have a different team, you have a different crew chief, you have a different pit crew, you're a different driver. Like, they have different driving styles, they have different strengths and weaknesses. Like, I just really hate that talking point. I think it's really tired. I see a lot of those fans who will get on Twitter and be like, oh, well, his teammates fighting for a championship, but he's not in the playoffs. Like, he sucks. Like, I just don't think that's valid. So if that's the case, then, most of HMS would be struggling, like, just because they get a win or two, but they're, struggling. The 48's been struggling pretty much every week, I feel like. But to stay on topic, I am very happy for the 45 crew. I hope they get it done. I think it's great that they had his flu game with Michael in attendance. That's just a really cool footnote for history. And for the 23, I mean, this season was this race rather was a microcosm of the season. I mean, had good speed, showed it early, got out, led, got the pole. Everyone was pumped about the pole. And then when the track changed, they could not keep up with it. And I mean, take a shot if you heard that line on this show before, but like it continues to be the biggest flaw, I think, for this team is being able to make adjustments throughout the course of a race and be up front when it matters, or make the key strategy calls to give them a shot at a good finish. Once they got out of that second, out of that first stage, I mean, they were just gone. Like there was no shot for them. Just getting past left, right, and center, and Bubba again saying the car is too tight. And eventually they were able to get it a little bit better, it seemed like, but I mean, by that point, it was too little too late. You're back there and, you get caught up in that mess that you are more likely to get involved in when you're further back. So, and then, your chance is ending because of somebody else's brain dead maneuvers. One, taking it 3 wide into turn 1 at Darlington and expecting it to work. Josh Berry. And B, seeing a wreck in front of you and just plowing into the guy. Who was that? Noah Gregson. Like, God, like you two just get out of the Cup Series. Just get out the Cup Series, both of you. You're not ready for it. So like, it is what it is. Like, I really want this team to do well, but I will continue to be, and I'm not a booty basher. Like, I'm not saying like he's trash, like he's terrible, but like, it's clear that this is the ceiling that this team has right now. And I mean, you look at Bubba's stats the last 3 years, they're almost exactly the same. Like it's 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s in a poll. And I saw someone tweet it earlier, with his poll, he has hit that 5, 10, and 1 mark again. Now, yes, he's done it earlier in the season, but there aren't these huge strides in terms of finishes. Now, I think the team's performance has been better. I think Bubba's been better at road courses, and I think he's performed more consistently. He's definitely more even-keeled behind the wheel. I think they've stepped up their game, and pit crew stepped up their game. Like there hasn't been any back-breaking pit road mistakes that you've seen, in weeks. So the one factor that hasn't gotten better again is still the box. And again, I never like to call people's jobs, and I feel like I say this like every 3 weeks, but like it's clear to me like this is the best you're gonna get, and I feel like you can do better than that. But I'm proud of the team's effort. Like I think it wasn't for a lack of effort. They tried strategy tonight. They tried everything they could. Even once they got that last set of tires before the wreck that caught them in it, it's like, okay, well, maybe they have a shot to, drive up and get some spots and at least be in the fight, because they were right on that line with Buescher before that previous caution came out, where they were like -2 or something. So like they were right in position to be able to try and point their way in, assuming, I think it was Larson was leading at the time, held on and win. But all of that was a moot point anyway, right? Because of the new winner. And I still will hate on the new winner system. I think, who was it, has like half as many points. I feel like several of the cutoff drive or the drives in the playoffs have half as many or a quarter as many points, but like there's no point in complaining about it right now, because like nothing's going to change. It's just a matter of how long are you willing to endure it and endure with this current system. But it's tough. This was a tough race, because I feel like it's clear they unloaded with a very capable car, and they just didn't keep up with the track. The sun goes down, the track cools off, you have to adjust, and you see it every single week that the good teams find a way to do it, and they just couldn't. So like you don't get the pole, finish second in the stage 1, and then parachute the rest of the race. Like that tells me that it is not a coincidence that this car is fast. Like the drivers is driving it max effort. The car is performing at its max effort, right? Like it wasn't like they got the pole and they dropped to 12th and they only had qualifying trim. Like they had speed to be able to endure throughout that whole stage and through green flag pit stops. But they got to change it, man. Like if you want more than this, you say it costs more, right? Like you got to be willing to make hard decisions. And I'm not saying they aren't, but I just want them to I want this team, I want this driver to be able to hit their full potential. And I just don't think the current configuration of the team is going to be able to do it. I think we're in this situation again next year, barring like some crazy shenanigans, like some Atlanta finish or like some garbage like that. And like, do you really want to resort to a photo finish or like a Kansas crazy BS finish, right? Where you have to door someone or do something crazy. Like outside of that, I don't see them getting better right now. Like to be, again, a top 5, top 10 team week in, week out and competing for wins. So it's a very bittersweet weekend. But I'm very proud of the team. Like I know I just badmouth them for 4 minutes, but like they really gave it their all, and they left everything out there on the track, which is all you can ask for at the end of the day. Like everyone's trying their best, but it wasn't good enough. So we're on to Atlanta, you said?
Yep.
All right, we're on to Atlanta. Try to get a dub. I want a new diecast.
You want more, cost more. So speaking of cost, just want to shout out Fox. Without you ending the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600 early, Charlotte wouldn't be the regular season champion because Kyle Larson never had a chance to start that race. So appreciate you. Lights too bright?
Lights too bright?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. My bright lights go to Academy Award-winning Stewart Haas Racing. I've never been so mad at teamwork in my life. They knew the odds against them. They knew what the precedent was. And I'm sure there's no radio call to prove it. But just the way that Josh Berry and Noah Gregson hit Bubba and caused that accident is going down in history. It should be in the Smithsonian. That was absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy. Lights too bright.
Hey everyone, I got sick of Carl hogging all of the ad reads, so I snuck in after hours to record my own. We've told you about Homefield's racing collection, but college football is here and Homefield has got you covered. They've got brand new coaches jackets that are high quality while providing you a retro look and feel. And not only that, but they also dropped brand new bomber jackets for your favorite universities. So if you want to look sharp at your next tailgate or just while you're shopping for the groceries, visit homefieldapparel.com and use code VLV24 to get 15% off your order. Now we're going to keep this on the hush, so don't tell Jarrett, and let's get back to the episode.
Anyway, I guess I'll go next since I opened my fat trap.
I wasn't going to say it, but go ahead.
Why do you hate me, Arthur? Why do you?
You said it. I didn't say one word.
Oh, man. You've been bullying me all day today.
That's not true.
It was. I look at in the group chat.
He's been a bully the whole day.
Yeah, I look at in the group chat.
That's not true.
I look in the group chat earlier today. I've been doing nothing. I've been at work. I've been doing what I got to do.
He's been on your neck since you
woke
up this morning.
And then Art put something in there about. I ain't even gonna say what the tweet was. And he says, if this was Carl, I feel like this was Carl in disguise or at all, or something like that. Like, what did I even do to you? Anyway, bro.
All right, screenshots or it ain't real.
That's real.
Anyway,
he's too lazy. He won't scroll back up.
I edit this show. Anyway, yeah, my light's too bright. Has to go to Richard Childress, man. Know when you've lost. It's like that scene. One of my favorite lines from Harlem Nights is Richard Pryor telling that guy, "Look, man, you lost. We'd have paid you if you won, but you didn't, so you lost." You took it through 2 different appeals to overturn Richmond. And really, I'm just getting agitated with him as a whole because you did 2 appeals over the Richmond situation. You knew you were going to lose both of them. You went crying to the media about how this is some mass injustice. I played the audio of the results of the 2020 election a couple weeks ago as a joke. But more and more, it's seeming like the next thing you're gonna say on camera is stop the count, bro. Because what is going on? Also, not even there are a myriad of things I can give you this week. So aside from the losing the appeal for the second time, which you knew was going to happen, you I guess put into the atmosphere that you were mad at Parker Redcliffe for not pushing Kyle Busch to the win when they did. You're old. Maybe you need your eyes checked. They didn't even line up good enough for him to push him to the winter Daytona. There was no shot. You go look at the onboard, it's like all he could have done is like gone down and hooked Bell and tried to get to Kyle and maybe then, hey, wait, what are you talking about? And moreover, why are you mad at Parker for not pushing your driver to the win and not taking accountability for the fact that you've been bringing school buses to the racetrack for the last 26 weeks? I make it make sense to me. You have fumbled. You're working on number 3 now, but you are fumbled 2 top talents in the last 20 years in Kevin and Tyler. I pray to God you are working on number 3 right now, because how do you keep finding yourselves in this situation? Anyway, I have been stewing on Richard all week. That's my Lights Too Bright winner from this week. So
I'm still annoyed about it, so I'm going to give it to Barry and Gregson.
See, that's why you should go first, so your answers don't get stolen. That's fine. I'd actually had a backup in plan. My Lights Too Bright, you get a medium-sized pair of sunglasses, but you almost got the industrial size pair. It goes to Truex because, my God, buddy, lap 3.
Man,
you just said, damn the consequences, and just threw it in there. Screwed over Blaney, right? Jacked up his arm or whatever, and you were real close, my boy. Like if you had missed the playoffs because of that, I told him, don't even come home, bro. Just go ahead and take that private plane back to Charlotte or to wherever, cabin in the woods that you live in.
He has like 4 different homes or whatever.
Yes, I'm sure. And they're all, surrounded, 50,000 miles away from civilization because he's hunting everything that steps within a mile of his property. But like, just don't come back to the shop, bro. Like we're good. We got enough. It's over.
Just put your brother in the car the rest of these last 10 weeks.
Honestly, because you know what? He wouldn't have done that. Yeah. I guarantee you, Ryan Truex wouldn't. I mean, that was one of those where you're just looking and you're like, what are you thinking? Like, I get you're high up in the points or whatever, but like you ain't clinched anything at that point. So I just man, that would have been such a ironic twist. And I'm not a huge fan of Truex. I've said on here before, I think he's a crybaby. Ever since he at Darlington was mad that Chase Elliott was racing him hard for the win with like 30 laps to go or something. Like I can never look at you in the same way after that. So like every time I hear him on the radio, him and James Smalls are having a pissing match about something, he left the toilet seat up or something. Like, I don't know. They're always complaining. So I just would have loved that little bit of irony, but yeah, Truex, bro, like you were an anchor last year in the playoffs, and if I saw it correctly on the graphic somewhere, you're dead last to start this year. So you better get to moving because these last 10 weeks are gonna be real bitter if you're one of the first 4 out. So yeah.
Is the race you're talking about, is that the one where they all ran the Jimmy Johnson throwbacks?
Yes.
Chase was in one? Okay.
Yep.
I was thinking about that race today. I couldn't remember the outcome of it, and I was like, damn, bro, my mind is going quickly.
I mean, I can't speak to that, but what I will say is that you are correct. It is that race.
Who won that one? Do you know?
It was someone else. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't those two. Yeah,
it might have been Jones. Maybe I don't remember.
It was. Yes.
Oh, look at that! See, I was just about to say we need Bonte here for this, but I got you this week, Bonte. Don't worry.
It was 2018, the first year of the Camaro. Yeah. Okay, I remember this all now.
Yeah, he literally was on the radio saying, "Why is he trying to race me so hard?" It's like, dude, there's like 28 to go or something. Like, let me just pull over and let you drive away with the win. Ever since then, I was like, no, bro.
Yeah.
Dale, this is one of those where I'm like, where's Dale Sr.? Like, these are the moments I actually want Dale here because he would have chewed him out. If he was in the booth, he would have fussed him out. But anyway, Truex should get my Lights Too Bright.
That's crazy because last week I said that Ryan Truex deserves his seat. Y'all look at me like I had 4 heads. Now all of a sudden, Arch the Peacekeeper saying, oh, yeah. Let Ryan drive the rest of the year. Fuck y'all. All
right.
Let's see. I just need to get that out because for those of you who don't know, obviously you can't see this in the video episode. I've had my emotional support cheesecake this entire time, and it's kind of rough over here. I ain't gonna lie to you.
He wants some cheesecake.
It should bussin' too. I think it's from Sam's Club, so
Hey, I'm on the way.
You know how it's got like it has like icing on the top, like an actual cake. It's fucking fantastic.
Yo, no, I saw that the other day.
Bro,
I was
so good. You gotta get you
at
some.
one in Tupelo. I was there for 4.5 hours. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The real question is though, what kind of icing?
I saw that.
That's like a buttercream.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. The Sam's Club bakery and gets me every time. I run up a check now every time, boy. Between the danishes, the croissants, the cut, boy. Anyway,
I really hate when like I'm sitting here writing down the time codes. I'm gonna cut all this shit out, and then Carl says something funny, and I gotta leave it in. I'm like,
we had an hour for a whole episode. It's the fastest we've ever done this.
We ain't done yet. We got a couple more surprises, baby.
We got more. What are we doing?
Speaking of surprises, so finally, at long last, 3 weeks late, we finally hit 900 followers on Twitter. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for pulling us through that struggle. I've been trying to give this thing away for like 6 months now, I feel like. So shout out to the 900th winner. I don't remember your Twitter handle, but I do know you live in Brazil. Shout out Brazil.
You'll get that, baby.
When we get that postage stamps. It requires a lot of stamps to go that far overseas, but we got you.
They don't have X anymore, so we can't actually give it to them. That's against the law now.
Oh, that's great. Oh, maybe they have a VPN.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're international, baby. Yeah, Carl, we international. So with that, Art's going to unveil the 1,000 giveaway live. Well, not giving away, but he's going to reveal what it is, which you have a chance
to win.
Right? The prize. So the way the rules works is just like all the last time. If you're one of the 1,000, you win. Outside of the 17 people who can't. This now includes you, Shari Jer. Welcome to the company. But Art's going to unveil what we are giving away.
All right. This is one time I kind of wish there was video, but not really, because it's like midnight.
You just do this part.
But everyone's not on cam. It just ruins the vibe. I wanted Carl to have the Home Alone face, like the shocked face.
Oh, Carl's seeing camera.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We'll just roll with it. All right. So we have a couple things.
He said go turn the camera. All right, here we go.
Okay. So a couple things. I'm gonna scale them up from like most common to least common. All right. So we saved the best for last. All right. So winner prize pack, you get all this stuff in the mail. So you get a Bubba Wallace Talladega Elite Win diecast 124. I know Bonte is excited. His ears perked up.
Bonte can't even win.
I didn't say he could win. I just said his ears would perk up. Those are two different things. So you have 2 autographed Bubba Wallace 124. So we have the Black Lives Matter car. We have the Adam Petty throwback Darlington scheme, both of which are signed. I got like the official certificate. I didn't do it in my office. Don't worry.
What a bad day to give away a Darlington diecast.
Why'd you gotta say that? Sometimes it's good to keep thoughts in your head. You don't have to say them. Don't go on mute now. Don't get shot. Not you, Jared. Okay, so we have this is a Darrell Wallace Jr. hero card. He ain't Bubba yet, and it's from his K&N days.
Damn.
So that was really cool. We have so we have a couple things. So what's the Jared, what's your favorite purple scheme?
The
NASCAR
Lidos? Click and close?
We have 2 Lidos crew hats.
Oh, damn.
They got the
2 of them.
VW.
Is that the Roush one?
No, these are 2311 ones.
Oh.
Yeah, so they got 2 team brand new.
Looking popping tags on
I know where to get the bootleg shirt for that too.
Oh my God.
Speaking of shirts, that's a great segue because we have Bubba Wallace Worldwide Technology Crew shirt from his RPM days.
Mm.
So that's pretty neat. It's a size large, just FYI.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on the wall.
The one last piece. I gotta stand up for it. Give me 1 second.
One last piece. What the hell? No, you didn't.
This better be a 5 of 5 on the boom. Oh my God!
No, you did not.
A Bubba Wallace, 6-door. I believe it's from Kentucky. I want to say from his Bonte will actually know this. I'm sure
it should say flip it over.
The EcoBoost came in multiple races.
But my source said Kentucky. I gotta double check and confirm. But this is from his Roush days. It is beat up. It's banged up. Huh?
Open another tab.
How you gonna ship that?
That's my business.
How to create multiple Twitter bot accounts.
So yes, it is this is a driver's side door. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna confirm it, but a Kentucky door from his Roush days. And yeah, we're gonna send all of it to you. So if you want to get in the pool, all you gotta do is follow us. Yeah, that's all I got.
Man, that is.
Here we go.
But this is for new and existing followers, correct?
Anyone who's following us when we hit 1,000.
When we hit 1,000, we like to safely give it away at when we're like 10 or 15 over.
Just because of the bots.
Just in case of the bots.
I found a Quora here on how to create thousands of Twitter accounts at once. So I would never do that.
Notes on when to cut.
There we go.
So that's it. Bubba Wallace prize pack, courtesy of Victory Lane Vibes.
You know, I had my whole spiel ready about how, you know, there's been one driver that, and I completely forgot about it because I'm so dejected after the Darlington race. But I had my whole spiel ready.
The hope back.
I had this whole spiel ready about how, you know, we had all these prize packs and we talk about all about these drivers that like we love on the show, but there's one driver who has been absent from every prize pack giveaway up until this point.
Until the biggest one.
And it's the last one. So it's our boy B-Dub. So
can we just take a second and just reflect that with all of the stuff that Arthur has curated for this giveaway about how down bad in the trenches this man Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. has been through? The trenches, the 6-door from the defunct Xfinity Roush team, bro. The Worldwide Technology sponsorship from when he drove the 43.
You know, it's funny now that I think about it. I did not plan this, but if you think about it, this actually goes through like his whole career because you got the K&W days, you got the Roush days, you got the RPM, and now you got the.
Now we out here in the current with the 2311 Lidos.
I did not plan that, but you know what?
We have Bubba Wallace's storied career. The only thing that you're missing is something from his truck days. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, do what we can.
It can be yours if the follower count is right. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your mammy, tell your grandma, follow us. Open mic. I mean, the episode's practically done at this point. In regards to open mic, this ain't the only time you can hear from us this week. Hee hee, ha ha, hee hee, hee hee, ha ha. When you go back and well, it would have been funny if you listened to what's coming before the race happened. You couldn't like let out a chuckle like we did, and then Chase Briscoe won, and we were like, "Oh, we can't make that joke." But you'll see what we're talking about here in a few short days. But other than that, anyone else? Questions, comments, concerns?
One little thing. Bob Pockris did jump on and said that Tyler Reddick said he did not puke and did not poop in the car. He just said it was a stomach bug. So he's just continuing he's just like me for real moments. He was just being dramatic. Just, you know, his tummy hurt. He wasn't being very brave about it.
Or did he do that so somebody from the team would still be willing to clean the car out?
See,
I was going to say, I feel like that's a backpedal.
I wonder because he is like, or maybe he just had some questionable moments where he thought, and they told him, "No, man, you're good. It was clean," just to make him feel better.
Oh God!
Is that worse?
Oh,
That's so much worse.
I have something that isn't disgusting and bodily fluid related.
Oh my god!
Do we have to shout out Corey LaJoie? Did we talk about that? He got his first top 10.
I opened the show with that.
I forgot. I'm gonna say it anyway.
This is
I
clear
don't.
that I don't.
After
I don't
200, I'm looking at the stat right here. Someone got
you're
the graphic
disrespectful.
done. After 229 starts on non-drafting tracks, Corey got his first top 10, 9th place. You know what? Good for you, Corey. Like we badmouth you enough on here, but that's a legit accomplishment for him. And you know what? Good for him. That's no sarcasm, no sass, no nothing. Like,
this Chili's giveaway free fajitas because he finished in the top 10.
No, I don't give away.
Or free
nothing.
honey chipotle chicken crispers.
I wouldn't turn down a fajita right now. It's almost.
I tell you what, man. You got to Chili's. You get the triple. You get the bacon chicken ranch quesadillas, the Nashville hot crispers. I think I get the double actually. I just get those two. Those two and the fries. Oh man.
You got to get those Southwest egg rolls, man.
I think maybe those two. I tell you what,
right now.
I tell you what too. All queso from everywhere you go, it all comes in a bag that's warmed in hot water. But something about the yellow queso at Chili's with the meat in it.
The chorizo or whatever.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Call it that?
Yeah.
Or is it just ground beef?
Carl's a snob. You know where he lives? He don't take too kindly to.
Oh my god!
What are you talking about? You know where I live?
No, I said, do you know where he lives? He's a snob for that kind of stuff.
You're a snob. You're supposed to be eating hibachi. Remember?
That has nothing to do with anything. I swear off that spot for a minute. I got it last week. It wasn't great. I felt a little sick, so
I'd poison the food too if you badmouth me on a worldwide podcast.
They have no clue. And then I was not the one. Other people decided to go leave reviews. Not me,
man.
Yeah.
We should end the show.
Yeah.
We should have ended about 7 minutes ago.
We should run away from this. On that note, we appreciate y'all for listening. Apparently we're worldwide. That was news to me when I found out we got somebody in Brazil. But like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for staying here. Thank y'all for being here. Apparently it's just gonna be the me and Jared show because Carl said he's gonna do whatever he wants to with art at the end of the season. So
all of my free time now is dedicated to playing F1 Manager 24. We signed Valtteri and Yuki at Alpine for next year. It's gonna be our year. No, it's fantastic.
He's coming back though.
No.
Next season he's
I believe him. I believe more of him disappearing than I believe you, Art. Adding to that,
shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm literally going to bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka next week and to clear my head and forget all about this hellscape of a sport that I decided to fall in love with because I was too afraid to get tackled playing football. So
you and Peyton are like the same person. That's really
they really are. Bro.
What are you talking about?
And you know what? You actually cooked right there. You know what? Don't expand on it. We out. Play us out.
One more thing. Hold on. One more. Because by now you would have heard the ad read for home field. I wanted to add our partnership with Eastside Roasters is back. We are currently testing the Victory Lane Vibes coffee blend. It is real. I have smelled it. I have tasted it. It is fantastic. And it's coming to a doorstep near you. And now you can play my music.